Hello and welcome to the Catch a Lift Fun Coaches Corner. I am Cal lead coach Melissa Luke, and this week I am honored to welcome retired U.S. Army veteran Brent Nadjadi to today's show. Brent is a U.S. Army veteran, the co-founder of Project Iron Gym in Bath, New York, and Brent is also a Cal veteran athlete. Welcome to this week's episode of Coaches Corner. Brent, welcome. Thanks for being here with us today.
Hey, appreciate you having me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
Oh, it's our honor to have you. Let's get started today. I want to talk to you, Brent, about kind of your journey into the Army and what that looked like. What were you doing before you enlisted?
Well, I graduated high school in 2006. Stayed close to home, went to a junior college, played baseball for about a year and a half, and quickly realized that I wasn't going anywhere fast. And I felt that I could serve a greater purpose doing what my brother was already doing. He went into the Army as a grunt a year before I did, but watching him come home and seeing a different side of him, seeing the discipline and motivation that he had, inspired me to try the same path. I went a little different path than he did. I went the engineer route, not so much infantry, but college was fun. But I knew that if I wanted to make something myself, I needed to get out and challenge myself a little bit better.
Yeah. So that was your twin brother too, right, Brent?
Yeah.
Like he went away before you did. So he came back and you really saw, profound changes in him. And is that what really attracted you then to enlisting in the Army?
Yeah, and I got a lot of positive vibes out of it. I mean, here he was he was only gone for 6 months, but his complete attitude and perspective changed in those 6 months. And for me, I was going the other way. I was kind of going down this downslope, and he was rising up a little bit. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's a good calling for me. Like, here's your sign kind of moment.
Yeah. So when did you enlist in the Army?
I didn't enlist until February 2008.
And what kind of happened?
What's that?
What happened from there once you enlisted?
Yeah, so I went to MEP station, the recruiting station, said, hey, I want to join. And they pulled out this big thing of things that I could do in the Army. I said, hey, what's the first thing leaving? They told me I was a heavy equipment operator. I've never pushed dirt in my life. I didn't even know what that was. But next thing you know, I'm waking up at Fort Knox, Kentucky as a private in the U.S. Army. I was like, geez, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So my journey really started me just being vulnerable. I just said, hey, I don't need a whole lot of time to think about it, because for me, the longer I think about things, the likelihood of things coming up in that path it increases a little bit. So yeah.
That makes sense. So how long was it, once you joined the Army before you would end up being deployed?
I got kind of lucky. After jump school, I got sent to Fort Bragg, and my unit just got back. So we've kind of found a little dwell time, as you will. So I didn't end up deploying until 2009, December of 2009. So, which is good because I got a good foundation. I felt like I knew what the Army was all about by then, and we got 6 months of just train up. So we came down on orders to Afghanistan, and they said, "Hey, thanks for your time as heavy equipment operators. Your job now is to conduct route clearance operations in Afghanistan." Well, another what is that kind of moment?
Yeah, totally.
So, but it's a tough job, but it was also, I'm grateful that we were doing that job and not pushing dirt in Afghanistan, for me anyway, because I didn't enjoy pushing dirt at all. It was not fun to me. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But we deployed to Afghanistan in 2009, 2010 to conduct route clearance operations in Afghanistan, and we had a blast.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, Brent, that doesn't know what route clearance is, can you kind of walk us through what that mission was and what you were actually kind of doing day to day?
Yeah, I mean, route clearance operations, we were the guys going 3 miles on the road or on a dismounted patrol, making sure the roadways were clear of bombs. In a perfect world, we were supposed to be clearing for coalition forces behind us, but we also found ourselves clearing a lot for the locals and stuff like that. So it was a tough job, but I felt a lot of purpose doing it, and the sense of brotherhood was just amazing to watch because it could have been any of us just stepping on something or missing something that could cost somebody their life. So it's kind of humbling, and then give you a really good sense of service too. So
Yeah. Brent, would you tell us about the day you were injured?
oh yeah, little backdrop to it. It was my first mission back off of R&R. I just picked up my E5, so I was a sergeant doing a team leader role, and wasn't supposed to be on this mission. We were down a few guys, and my squad leader at the time came up to me and said, "Hey, I know you just got here, but can you roll this tomorrow morning?" And it was a 2-day mission. Um, Very unfamiliar routes to me because we just got to this area of operation. We cleared one day to file blessing. It all worked out really well. And then the second morning, got up like normal, turned on to Rhode Island, and everything went black. So that was in September of 2010. And then I woke up in Landstuhl, Germany, a week later. Not a clue where I was. But the beauty of it all is I had a really good friend of mine in the same room with me. So it made we would joke and talk about things, and it made that transition a little easier. But yeah, the day that changed my life forever, and I'm grateful for it, was September 13th, 2010.
So how long were you in Germany, Brent, before you came back to the US?
I wish I could really tell you how long. It felt like I was there forever. But I think I was there for a couple of days, and then I got back to. We'll talk about that transition process in a little bit, but I got back to Andrews Air Force Base, and that was the time. I don't know. This one, the old Walter Reed was moving into the new Walter Reed, and we ran into some housing issues. So they gave me the options. You know, do you want to go back down to Fort Bragg until we have some space for you here? And then, which was a no-brainer. My guys are coming back in 3 months. I wanted to be there when they got back. And then the doctors, when they came in and they said, "Hey, you know, you got pretty jacked up, but there's a slim possibility that we can save your legs." And I mean, you go at any 21-year-old and tell them that there's an option to save your legs.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're headstrong and you don't want to let the enemy know that they're winning. So, so I kept my legs, went down to Fort Bragg, and I was only supposed to be down there temporarily. And then, so I spent a year and a half down there, and did a lot of surgeries, tried to get my legs back. And then I finally got back up to Walter Reed in February 2012. Just waiting on orders. It was just a waiting game.
So Brent, when you and I had talked previously, you had kind of described it to me, you're in this period of limb salvage. And you had made the statement something to the effect of, it's never really a permanent thing, or it never ends well.
Yeah.
Could you talk to us a little bit about, what limb salvage is and kind of what was going on during that period of time?
Yeah, limb salvage is exactly what it sounds like. It's medical procedures put in place to help you keep your limbs. And hindsight is always 2020. So I spent the first year and a half before I let go of my left one as limb salvage. And at the end, after all the surgeries and after all the treatments, it was like a paperweight. It didn't do anything. It didn't go up, down, nothing. It was like a paperweight. And so I was happy to let that one go. But my right side, I kept for 9 years. It was a little better off initially, but as the more fit I got and the more things I did outside of physical therapy and all that stuff, and you could just see the gradual decline of bone and tissue, and the doctors always talked about losing it later on in life, but nobody anticipated me letting it go at 30. So I let go of that one last March, and I tell you, I'm in the best shape of my life now, and I'm happy that my wife and I were able to make that hard decision, and it's been beautiful for me.
That's terrific. That's terrific. Brent, I know, when you came back and you end up down in Bragg and stuff, this would, be, I believe like a 3-year medical process for you,
Yeah.
that you're kind of going with. Could you talk about your wife during this time and kind of her support for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was so I got back down to Fort Bragg. My wife was going; she was in grad school, full ride, no money to be spent there, and she got the news, obviously, that I was injured. Nobody knew um, what was going on, so without even hesitation, she dropped out of grad school. She came down to be with me every single day for the entire 3 years of the big army and all of our problems that we're going through with that. And you know, I think it's important, if we got a minute here. I think
Yeah,
it's important
absolutely.
to highlight how much the spouses and the people that operate in the background really do. I don't think they get enough recognition, and my wife is one of them. I wouldn't be where I am today by any means without her strength and her grit, her willingness to be there for me, but also challenge me. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story. I was in a back brace, hanging out at the Fisher House, and well, I just got out of my back brace. It was my first few days without it, and I was still not weight bearing, so my legs were just kind of plastered up and just kind of along for the ride. But I left the remote. It was football Sunday, and I left the remote, the couch over, and I was like, "Hey, can you hand me that remote?" And my wife, swear to God, she's like, "No, you can get that yourself." So I had to get off the couch and crawl over to the other couch. But that kind of stuff right there is what set her apart. She wouldn't let me feel the sympathy for myself, and she brought the best out of me when I needed it the most, and I'm very blessed for it.
That's terrific. Thank you for sharing that with us. I mean, you're completely right, Brent. Spouses, caregivers that are doing so much behind the scenes for, our veterans and injured service members. And, that's certainly important to always talk about and bring to light for everyone. Because they
And I hope I'm embarrassed
also
when
serve in
I watch this, but you know,
they
it's
serve in a great way too.
and she never wanted any recognition. She was just there for out of her own heart, and it was a beautiful thing to watch and be a part of.
Brent, would you tell us about 2013 and retiring from the Army and what that looked like for you?
Yeah, one word will sum it up. I think the best is uncertainty. Um, I wanted to stay in, but at that point, there was a downsizing of the Army, and they weren't offering anything. They offered like admin jobs and stuff like that. It's hard to go from the front line um, to an admin job. Nothing against the admin folks, but
Yeah,
it wasn't my
yeah,
cup of tea. And so realizing that I wouldn't be able to serve in that same light, I retired out of the military in 2013, and we moved back here to good old Bath, New York, with really no assumptions or anything locked in place. We were just kind of, I know for me, I just wanted to come here, get my feet back on the ground, um, and start getting back into things slowly. I didn't look for a job right away. I was just trying to focus on myself and see what the civilian sector is really like. Because the hardest thing I've done a lot of surgeries and a lot of physical therapy, but the hardest thing I've ever done was transition out of the military. The hardest thing. What I found is that nothing really, you can't find that camaraderie. You can't find that sense of purpose anywhere else. I mean, and I've tried. I've done the volunteer
right,
fire department work. I've done, it's really hard to mimic that kind of a lifestyle. And so the first few years were pretty tough. I was like, gosh, I kept finding myself just trying to find different ways to keep serving.
right.
And I finally ended up doing that in 2015 when I joined the USA Patriots. It's an amputee softball team that travels the country, mainly composed of combat vets, and it gave me a way of serving beyond the uniform and still helping kids or helping others with limb loss, and serving as not only an inspiration but a mentor to the young children and the fans that would come out. It gave me that sense of purpose again. It gave me that sense of belonging, and it propelled me to keep getting better physically too.
That's incredible. So I definitely wanted to talk to you about your softball. I'm glad you brought that up now.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think you took away most from that time, playing with the USA Patriots?
You know, I mean, we're still going, and we're still kicking, and we're still playing ball. But the biggest thing for me is you can relate to them. For me on a personal level, I can relate to those guys that I share the diamond with. It brings me back to a place where that camaraderie is real, and we're all there for each other. And yeah, we like to joke and have fun, but at the end of the day, we're living a good mission, doing our best, and we're playing ball. It's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing.
that is. That is. So was the softball kind of how you started back into fitness, or where did your fitness journey kind of begin again, post-military?
Yeah, so like I said, my fitness started a little unusual to others. So in 2011, right before my first amputation, I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis, which is an autoimmune disease that attacked my lungs and made my calcium level just skyrocket. I was very sick for a long, long time. I got down to like 120 pounds, and nobody could figure it out. I was only
Yeah.
21 years old, and um, so my journey into fitness started when I got put on prednisone and I started gaining a lot of weight. And it was unbeknownst to me because if you don't look in the mirror, you don't realize it, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I was getting out of bed one morning and I started breathing hard, and I sit up and I'm like, golly. In the mirror, I turned to the left and the mirror's right there. And I ended up going from 120 pounds to 260 pounds real quick. And I said, my wife will tell you the same thing. It's I had to either put up or shut up. And I turned right then to that day changed my life forever. And I turned to fitness that day. Um, and then so it started off as a physical desire for me to want to get better, get in shape. And
Right.
then along the journey, it's been what, 9 years, 10 years. It's turned into more of a emotional and mental health well-being more than anything, especially 10 years in. So
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. I know you would describe fitness to me as your life-changing event, you
yeah,
know?
I mean, bar none. It was, and I met a lot of good people along the way that really motivated me and kept me pushing. And I wouldn't know where I'd be without, first of all, my wife, and then fitness. I couldn't tell you.
That's incredible. I wanna touch back on a minute, Brent, on, the loss of camaraderie, right,
Mhm.
post-service. And like you said, you looked a lot of different places to find that,
Mhm.
firefighting, the paramedics, different things, and, you found some of that again, on the softball team and stuff. Besides that, how else have you been kind of able to fill that void in your life, or kind of what do you do if you haven't filled it, or it obviously can never be filled in that way, but I mean, what kind of takes its place now, or.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the softball team, but I think I changed my perspective a little bit along the way too. Um, Me letting go and realizing that that camaraderie is not going to be found in that magnitude ever again was very relieving to me. And once I did that, I kind of opened my eyes up, and I can still do a lot of great things and have some great relationships and friendships, whether it's in the gym or playing cornhole or on the golf course. I can still enjoy life to its fullest um, without having that same level of camaraderie that I once did.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your gym that you
Mhm.
recently opened with your brother.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me, well, first, tell us about the gym, where it is, and I want to hear what that experience has been like for you.
Yeah. So my brother and I have, like I said, twin brother, and I travel the country a lot, and I go to a lot of gyms throughout the U.S. And um, we both had this yearning to get back to traditional roots of lifting, and we wanted to get away from the big chain kind of gyms. And so what we did is we created a barbell gym in Kenona, New York. Like I said, it's just simple to the roots of lifting. Um, Nothing crazy. I mean, there's no spas attached. There's no it's just it's you come in there, you clear your mind, get your mind right, and you just move weight around.
Yeah.
That's all we're trying to do here. And what a blessing it's been. I mean, people often get motivated by me or how I live my life, but it's crazy how. I mean, I don't know if you saw my post today about Mike Trenchard. I get so motivated and inspired by what these guys are willing to do and the
Yeah.
sacrifice they're willing to do to make their life better. I mean, because
Yeah.
just a workout isn't gonna help you, but by doing that workout, it sets their day up for success, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so yeah, I was like his biggest hype man this morning. I was like, that's why I like doing it. That's why I continue to show up every day and to watch them grow as people. It's fun to watch.
That's so cool. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, that's so cool. I did see that post. That is just outstanding.
Yeah,
Outstanding.
but the guy works hard, and typically if you work hard, it pays off. So I was nothing but happy
Absolutely.
because he started a lot worse off than that. So
So 2020 has been a crazy year, right? COVID shutdowns, you're in New
mhm.
York. Want to talk to you a little bit about how COVID or the shutdowns has affected your fitness lifestyle and your gym.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange time we live in. COVID. So we opened up our gym on Veterans Day last year. Got a good 3-4 months and um, of being open 24 hours and really enjoying it. And then obviously COVID hit, and we're in New York, so it took all of 6 months before we could even open again.
Oh
And
man.
what I worried about, it wasn't so much of how much physical gains people were losing. It was the mental aspect
Oh
of
yes.
not being able to be in the gym and push yourself like that. And I think that has the biggest toll. I talked to a lot of the guys that go to the gym, and yeah, they said that's the mental approach during that time was significantly harder than before when they could go to the gym. But we rebounded pretty well. We're back up to 120 members, and we're doing all right. But those 6 months they were
Yeah.
taxing, and on just society in general. It's so much bigger than the
Yeah.
gym. Um,
Right.
it's just you try to be there for your peers and
Yeah.
know that you're all in it together, kind of thing. And
Yeah. That's definitely all we can do, really,
yeah,
in the end. Um, So kind of to piggyback off that, you're
mhm.
in a small town, you live in a small town, Jim's in a small town. Talk to us about what that's like, living and having a small business in small town America.
Oh, I love it. I mean, being stationed at Walter Reed and right outside of DC and all the fast parts of life. I mean, coming back to rural America was a blessing. I mean, it's really not because you get to. I mean, when you go to like a bigger facility or something like that, you feel like more like a number. I mean, I know everybody on a first name basis, and typically I know a lot more about them just by
Yeah,
hearing stories
yeah,
along the way. But I don't. You get that interaction at a smaller business, right? You don't really get that in the bigger gyms. Um, so coming back, I mean, to be honest with you, I never wanted to return to Bath, New York after I got injured, just because there wasn't a lot of opportunity, and there still really isn't. But it's home, and we're trying to make the best out of it. But and the gym has definitely helped um, keep me motivated, keep me on track, and
that's awesome. That's awesome. I know I live in a small town too in rural America, and same kind of thing. When I was younger, thought, yeah, I'm never going back to that.
yeah,
It's something, definitely gravitated back towards it, and I can't imagine really being anywhere else now. So it's
exactly. I mean, home
yeah,
is home, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly, yeah,
especially when you're young, you're like, gosh, you just want to go out and experience the world. And I just turned 32 and I'm ready for the slower things in life, really.
yeah,
I mean, I enjoy my time
yeah,
out on the golf course and
yeah,
doing that kind of stuff. It's just it's quiet, tranquil, and it's a good place to be.
yeah. No, I get that. I get that. I want to talk to you, Brent, about your adaptive fitness.
Hmm.
Um, can you talk to us a little bit about how you do adapt in the gym as a double amputee?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty quite simple. I mean, I watch somebody or I see an exercise out there, and I'm like Matt said last week, it's just trial and error. It's all it is. I mean, adapting. I mean, even though I don't have ankles, I can still do a lot of great things, and watch people like Jason Smith and all these other guys that just keep grinding, but it's humbling. But yeah, you put one foot in front of the other, and you figure out what works for you in there, and then you try to make the best out of the exercise.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm really not good at, and the guys on the softball team will tell you, is running is not my cup of tea. I mean, I got guys on the softball team that can run laps around me, but I don't know. It's just like a mental block where I can't run. It's mind blowing to me. I just can't get the hang of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just try to find things that work for you, and um, sometimes it works out. Sometimes you don't feel it where you're supposed to, and you just cross that off the bucket list and say, hey, maybe that's not mine, right?
Yeah.
So,
Are there any resources in particular that, did help you kind of, even in the beginning stages, or the early years when you were an amputee, kind of, help you figure some of it out, or was it just all plain trial and error for you?
no, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I was fortunate enough to do my rehab and stuff like that at Walter Reed, and I was just one of several amputees there. And I'm not one for organized PT or stuff like that, but I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't much for me. I'd go in there to get my workout in, and they're all going through the same thing. So you're always watching, you're always learning, you're always getting motivated by those guys, and drawing strength from those guys, because at the end of the day, they're out there just grinding. You're just trying to make the best of it, right? So early on, I really just did a lot of people watching, to be honest with you.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because I was never one of those guys that would just go up to somebody and ask, or I was pretty reserved. Not so much now, but back then I was. So just watch, do a lot of watching, and then I would try to take that workout and make it fit to me. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. But then we talk about it later on. So
Yeah. What advice do you have, Brent, for any adaptive athletes that are listening, or any athletes in general? What do you want to tell us?
yeah, I have one motto that I live by, but I would just say believe in the process. I mean, and know what you're doing today is going to make tomorrow better. So I live by to stay humble and grind. That's really what I try to do. Is I try to live a life of gratitude, and know that the work I'm putting in today is going to shape my tomorrow. So, and there's going to be tough ways. There's going to be tough things that fall along the way, but our perspective will carry us through if we got our mind
Oh,
right.
definitely, definitely. Can you talk to us some more, Brent, about gratitude and how living a life of gratitude has helped you kind of move on and push forward in life?
Yeah, I mean, so the easiest thing for me that I found was in life was playing the pity card, or doing things that would restrict getting the most out of my daily challenges. And when I turn my perspective into living a life of gratitude and being thankful for the blessings that I still have. I might not have my legs, or I might, all that stuff, the physical, the mental, but I'm still here. I'm still carrying on a legacy that my brothers left behind for me to carry on. And when I think about that and I stay in the moment, stay present with it, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch all come
That
together.
is beautiful. That is. Oh my gosh, yes. Um, I know another key for you, Brent, in fitness and life, all of it, but I want to talk a bit of, on the fitness side of it. Talk to me about the mental aspect of fitness.
Okay,
What,
yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, fitness is so much more than just moving around weight and doing that stuff. So when I first started working out, it was all about just getting myself in shape, like I said earlier. But it's transformed into something that I need for mental health. To be honest with you, if I go 3-4 days without a workout, I can see myself kind of slide into like a darker area, especially with depression and stuff like that. So I transferred from just doing it for physical. Now Now I'm doing it because it's a habit of mine, and I need that to stay fresh and stay in a good state of mind.
Right.
Because there's something about pushing weight and being around good people and having goals in the gym that really propel your life forward. And being able to share that with my twin brother has been pretty
That's so
phenomenal.
cool. Yeah.
We're twins, but we're completely different.
Are you?
Yeah, like I'm a social butterfly, if you will. But he's more reserved. He does a lot of that behind the scenes work and doesn't talk a whole lot. But yeah, in order to, so now that we got this gym together and we're able to get out there and work hard and try to inspire others and give back to the community as much as we can, it's
Right.
just been a blessing, to be honest. So
That's terrific. That's
Mhm.
absolutely terrific. Oh my gosh. Um, I want to talk about nutrition with you too, because I know that has played a big key for you, and you really
Yeah,
believe in it. Um, so how has nutrition played a role in your life?
and nutrition is one thing that I ignored for a long time. Especially when you're 21 or you're 25 and you think you're invincible, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't until recently where I was talking to my prosthetist who's out in Washington, and we got to talk about nutrition and what we actually put into our body and um, what kind of things happen to those things, the process that they take, and the good or bad that they do. And I was talking to my brother, and he's a certified personal trainer. And with our business, I was like, it'd be a good compliment to you if I went down this nutrition path because I wholeheartedly believe in knowing what you're putting into your body and getting the most out of it. So a life of fitness is a lot bigger than just a workout, right?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, especially me when I was younger, thought that I was just getting a workout in. I thought I could just go eat and slay whatever I wanted to, right? And it just
Yeah.
doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm getting older, it's like, gosh, maybe the chicken wings and all that kind of stuff, or even a beer or two. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
that's really not the best for me right now. So I reached out to Kale, and like I said, Kale's been great to me, and said, hey, I'm trying this whole nutrition thing, and I'd like to get better at it, and I'd like to get certified in it. And I didn't realize the complexity of nutrition. It's a lot more than just macros and calories. It's about cells, and it's been mind blowing this process that I've been doing. But um, I think if I do it right and I put my mind to it, I think I can help others
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
experience the same kind of thing and get the most out of nutrition. Because
Yeah.
I mean, and some people eat chicken and rice and that they swear by it, but is that really living? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
other things
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
do. So, but it's been challenging. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Um, so with the nutrition certification that you're working on,
Mhm.
uh, is your plan with that to give back, to other veterans with that, or is
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of your
Yeah,
intention
so
to continue to teach others with that? And
yeah, I
um,
mean, like I said, I want to help as many people as I can, and I think my brother shares the same values as I do when it comes to that. And we're a gym that is solely focused on giving back as much as we can. You don't own a gym to get wealthy. It just doesn't happen, right? We want to impact lives for the greater good. And being in a small community, it's a lot more humbling.
yeah,
It's a good thing. And yeah, so I want to take that nutrition certification and really help people understand what they're putting into their body and what they can do to make it better.
yeah, that's terrific. And it's just such a way that, like you said, you can reach, and you can give back to so many people through the nutrition, through fitness, obviously too, but nutrition in particular.
Right.
There's so much about it, that people overlook or misunderstand, or even like you said, you think you end up, you think you need to operate in this box where you're just eating chicken and rice, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's no way to live and it's not sustainable.
Right.
Um,
Well, and
so we're
stay
definitely,
away from bad diets too. I mean,
yeah.
we live in such a society that has all this information out there, and it's so trendy. And I mean, if you just go back to the roots of it all, I think we'd all be better off. And
Oh
that's just my
yeah.
personal opinion. I think information gets so diluted these days, and people don't understand that if it works for somebody, it's not necessarily going to work for you either, right? Um,
Oh, definitely.
so
I
I
really I really saw that in my own nutrition journey. um, because we all, we can handle different, we handle different foods differently. We process them, differently, just what we can
Mhm.
break down. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and like I said, if I can get people to understand that fitness is a journey, right? It's we have there's a lot of people that walk through the doors of a gym. They want immediate results. We live in such a society that's built like that, right?
Yes.
Immediate. We want
Yep.
results right then. But if people just do stay committed to fitness and nutrition for 21 to 30 days, how life changing that's going to be
Yeah.
for them.
What a difference that is. Yeah.
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 It,
Oh
it
man, that's
becomes a
incredible.
habit after that point, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yeah. And you just keep building from that. It's like a
Exactly.
snowball effect, rolling the snowball. It just keeps getting, bigger
And
and
the
bigger.
results will come. They will come. But you got to be willing to sacrifice and put the work in. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to talk to you about Catch a Lift, Brent.
Yeah.
Um, how did you first learn about the organization, or how did you find Catch a Lift?
So I was getting my second amputation at Walter Reed last March, and my physical therapist, Lisa, she's like, "You ever heard of Catch a Lift?" I'm like, "What is Catch a Lift?" I don't need a ride anywhere. I'm
I
doing
love
okay, I don't need a personal
that.
taxi service. But because she knew I was big into the fitness arena, and so she gave me the website, and I looked into it a little bit, and I was like, "Man, this is pretty cool." Outside of the grant and all that stuff that
Yeah.
Kale does for veterans, just the amount of resources on their landing zone. And I mean, you talk
Yeah.
about nutrition. I get a lot of my nutrition stuff from the information that they post on the landing zone.
Yeah.
Um, and then so I did that end of last year. I started getting involved, and then COVID hit. So that kind of threw the brakes on everything, really.
Yeah.
But I still went on the landing zone. I still did what I could, um, and learned as much as I could. Then this past a couple weeks ago, I did my first Kale event down in Baltimore, and I tell
Tell us
you,
about that. Tell us
man, what
about
a
that event,
humbling
Brent.
experience! I tell you, I mean, from you don't really get the full aspect of what an organization does by looking at a computer screen. It was really humbling to go out there and meet the people of Kale. Not all of them, obviously, but um, put faces to names
Right.
and realize that how exceptional of people they are. They do a lot of this stuff by the goodness of their heart, and it's like, holy cow! It was so. Me and my brother, we left the Kale golf outing very humbled and proud that we were able to participate. And um, I got to meet Jason. Jason was my coach. Jason Smith was my
Yep.
coach when we first started. But it was nice to see him and put a face to a name. And so it was really, I look forward to doing a lot more of them, even if it's not golf.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool experience, and it was
That's terrific.
one that I'll remember for a long time. That's for sure.
Oh, that is so terrific. That is terrific. Brent, what does it mean to be a Catch a Lift Fun veteran athlete?
I mean, I hate to use humbled a lot, but this whole journey that I've been able to, I guess, capitalize on has been very humbling, and it's nice to know that I'm doing something in my life that I can help others with. Because it's not about me anymore. Whatever I can do to share or be a part of or motivate and give back to the veteran community is just it's awesome to me. And working with an organization like Kale and the USA Patriots and all these great organizations that are out there, it gives you that sense of giving back, and it's a pretty nice feeling.
Yeah, that's terrific. And the last question, Brent, kind of piggybacks just off
Mhm.
that. But I mean, um, so one of the great things about Catch a Lift, and you touched on a bit, it's more than just that gym grant, that physical grant. There's the landing zone, those resources, the
Mhm.
community. You're able to connect with these other veterans, like when you came in, having Coach Jason Smith there by your side. What does it mean to you to have a place like Catch a Lift where you're able to engage, with fellow veterans in fitness? What does that mean to you?
It's nice being able to talk to people that can directly relate to you. I mean, in whatever life goal you're going through, So when Jason reached out to me, I was like, gosh, he gets it because he's living that same life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's grinding the same way I am. And so when when you're able to talk to people that are like minded and have the same kind of goals that you do, it makes everything that makes the entire process a lot easier. It makes you feel welcome. It makes you feel at home. And then you get to, like I said, it's hard to put into words, but it's a lot easier working with an organization that truly gets you and can relate to you. So that's been my biggest draw from it is I don't feel like an outsider. I feel like I belong. Um, I feel like that I'm meant to be there, and I feel like I can have a good impact on it as long as I do it the right way.
Absolutely. I think that's a good place for us to wrap up today, Brent. Thank you, number one, for your service to our great country. And thank you for continuing to serve the way you do and give back so much and, just putting out the greatness that you do through your life of gratitude. It's absolutely beautiful, so
I tell you, it's a hell of a ride to be on, and I'm grateful I'm still here. So,
yeah. Well, we're so grateful that you were able to be on today and share your story with us, Brent. That's
I
it for this.
appreciate it, and I tell
Oh,
you,
absolutely.
keep up the good work. All right.
Absolutely. That's it for this week's episode of Coach's Corner. We will return next Wednesday at 1 Eastern with another new episode. Thank you again, Brent, for sharing your story with us and your light. We appreciate you so very much. Thank you to ID Technology for your continued support of Catch a Lift, the Landing Zone, the Coach's Corner, the website. A huge thank you to Lynn Coughlin, Kaylee Nasiri, and Henry Pomper for continuing to make this podcast a possibility for all of us. And thank you to the entire Catch a Lift team. If there are any Cal veteran members listening and you'd like to jump on for a few minutes and talk some more with Brent, leave your name in the comment box and we'll get you guys a link sent over. Until next week, keep it real and stay Cal strong.